So welcome to this short video on a demo of NotebookLM, and in this case I have taken some Udemy data, course enrollment data that I have been collecting over the last 1 year. So you can find it at this link. I will give it in the description as well. So from here you can see there are cohorts, like where you can see individual, there are different instructors grouped on different types of courses, categories they are working on, and the number of students, that is the public information available, number of students taken at a regular interval of 28 days, so 4 weeks. So we have a consistent year of data, increase of enrollments, and there is also another format where we can have just for the top instructors of each category, like development, business, and in other there are also cohort B, like office productivity, personal development, design, marketing. So all of these, and these are the highest selling authors in those categories. Also in the cohorts, there are other cohorts as well. We can jump from there through cohort 3 and cohort 4. So there are multiple cohorts, and the data is, even though it is structured, but it is in different, presented in a different visual manner. So it is for Notebook LLM to make sense of this structured data which has been presented in tables. So right in the beginning, what I do is, let's go full screen. So first I add the sources. So there you can add sources from Google Drive. There's a source limit of 50. Maybe for the paid plans it will be, you can add more sources. Google Workspace, links like websites, you can click websites. That's how I added my URLs, the URLs that I wanted to focus on. Other than that, there are also options of YouTube videos and general copied text. So copies you can, and also you can discover sources. So if you say anywhere from Google Drive or web, you can search something. So if I say Udemy, which is I'm searching, let's submit, it will run through and it will find out some relevant sources. So in your case, maybe it will not be as relevant. Accordingly, you have to let go of, in that case, you can not select any of the sources that NotebookLM suggests for you. So here I get Udemy, 250 top courses, review. So there is YouTube, there are articles, how much money YouTube instructors make, and bestseller Udemy courses of 2025. So anything that's related to the data I have already loaded. So it is covered some relevant sources. Now let's come to the immediate summary that it draws up. These excerpts offer. So this is something, it has studied the sources. Let's minimize that. Okay, so in some of the sources didn't load and you got the remove source, you got that error, source is empty. Even though I have information over there, for some reason it doesn't take that link. Anyway, so discover is also for that same discover other sources. So let's minimize this part and let's now look at this other, let's now focus on this other two parts. So first we have this Udemy enrollment course, enrollment tracking data. And in these excerpts offer detailed time-stamped tabular data related to what appears to be Udemy courses organized into distinct groups labeled as cohort A, C, B, C, and D, often specifying categories like development, business, lifestyle, and teaching and academics. The information includes numerical metrics that change over time, so it notes that it's chronology, often featuring large numbers that likely represent students' counts, or revenues, sometimes denoted with abbreviations like K for thousands or M for millions, so it's able to identify that. Specific instructors and their courses are mentioned, such as Krista and Meyers. They're quite well-known instructors, alongside dates ranging from December 2024 through November 2025. So full range of data over around 1 year, indicating a tracking or planning document for these cohorts. Furthermore, references to Udemy 2024 and 2025 suggest that the data spans at least 2 years of operational or planning information for the online learning platform. So this is the summary it immediately runs. So then I look at what are the options on the right side. There is the audio overview, there's a video overview, mind map, there are reports, generate reports based on your sources, flashcards, and quiz. So the reports that I have generated, create your own. There are formats of create your own, briefing doc, study guide, short answer quiz, blog post. Also formats like market analysis, competitor dossier, profiling top performing instructors, explanatory narrative, and information. So I think this one looks good. Let me run into that. Okay, so let it generate. In the meantime, let's look at what we already have. So first we have the cohorts and key instructors. So here it's immediately drawn into, you can see it's multiple, it's drawn in a map. So this is interesting. As you go, as you drill in, it goes and finds out like trees, the instructors under each of those cohorts. So teaching and academics, if you can go in and if you click, I think it will discuss what these sources say about lifestyle in the largest context of cohort C. So it will go to the LM and the LLM will come back with whatever it reads, initial listing over those, and these figures are progressive. Analogy, think of cohort C as a wellness department store, while departments like photography, health and fitness and music handle specific needs. The lifestyle section is the general merchandise floor, grouping all courses focused on improving one's general way of life, distinct from core business or IT skills covered in other cohorts. So this is interesting. You can drill down into the mind map, and let's minimize the mind map. So that's how you can go and look at the mind map and see if you can find out any relations between the data that we have presented. Now the flashcard, this is, I just tested this out, what we have renamed share and delete. In this one, you can just have questions. So you can increase this screen size. What are the subject categories? So it asks, it's good to prepare you for a test. So if your sources are different notes and different PDFs, different books that you have been taught in a class, you can run them through and get this flashcards. What were the subject? And if you click, see the answer: development, business, finance, and accounting. If you want explanation, it will again go to the LLM and explain why that's the answer. According to this cohort, what was Krista King's enrollment? Now it starts asking for numbers. So it's like dates. Like in history, you are asked, what's the enrollment number for Sandra, 11% on May 18th? So it's like numbers. They're telling me to remember the numbers and dates. What were the subject categories for cohort C? So there are 66 flashcards. You can see down here, lifestyle. So in the section, what was the total enrollment figure? So this will be number 3.208 M. Health and fitness category, cohort C, enrollment of this on which date? So you'll have the date. And then similarly, you can just keep going. According to cohort C source, what was the total enrollment for the music category on January 19th of this year? It's a number. Yeah. In the Udemy source, what was the data point? So in this case, it's not that helpful, but I can understand the relevance when you are preparing for a test. Now let's minimize. Let's go to the next one. Now let's look at the audio overview. So I've generated the audio overview. Let's listen to it. It's pretty interesting.
Welcome to Deep Dive. Today we're really getting into the weeds with maybe the densest set of source material we've seen. We're talking about a huge stack of performance data. It covers major online education cohorts, their top instructors, really detailed stuff. And it spans metrics from 2024, but also projects right into 2025. Millions of data points here. So our mission, yours and ours, is, well, it's simple to state, but tricky to do. We need to cut through all this noise, the classification codes, the sheer volume of numbers, all these tracking dates, and try to pull out one key insight for you. We're not just hunting for the biggest numbers.
So it gives a good introduction and starts talking. So there are two hosts by default. Let's see if I can maximize this. Maximize. Can be interactive. So I can talk to when they're discussing, I can jump in.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really getting into the weeds with maybe the densest set of source material we've seen. We're talking about a huge stack of performance data. It covers major online education cohorts, their top instructors, really detailed stuff. And it spans metrics from 2024, but also projects right into 2025. Millions of data points here. So our mission, yours and ours, is Well, it's simple to state, but tricky to do. We need to cut through all this noise. The classification codes, the sheer volume of numbers, all these tracking dates, and try to pull out one key insight for you. We're not just hunting for the biggest numbers. We want to tackle that fundamental business question. In online education, what's better? Is it aiming for massive?
Oh, hey, our listener wants to join in. What's up?
Yeah, so my concern is like which are the fields where the instructors have had the most number of enrollments and why certain categories tend to perform better in terms of number of enrollments. Does it mean that the students are looking for those courses more?
That is a great question right out of the gate.
And we love that you're joining us.
Yeah, that term elements you picked up on.
It's actually a key part of the coding structure,
It's not about student preference, exactly.
but more about how the platform organizes courses.
You see elements like 25 or 4 next to the metrics?
These likely represent internal classification codes,
They might point to the number of courses.
or the number of instructors contributing to that metric.
So it's about the platform. Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I have looked at the data and the numbers beside the enrollment numbers in square brackets or in brackets is actually the number of courses taught by the instructor at that point of time.
You are absolutely right, and we appreciate you clarifying that.
That's a perfect example of synthesizing the data.
So yes, when you see a number like 25 or 4, as you pointed out, it's often the number of courses.
Taught by that instructor or courses contributing to that specific enrollment metric.
This detail is incredibly helpful.
Because it shifts the meaning of those cohort numbers.
It's not just a platform code.
It directly ties the...
So here, so they're able to immediately take my information and immediately build on it. I noticed that they generally tend to add a lot of fluff words. They try to talk round and round instead of going directly into the subject matter, but I think it's a culture thing. So just to ease the student, whoever is listener, to ease them into the topic instead of directly starting with the tough data and slowly at the end, so you can listen to it. You have the link down below in the description. Listen to the entire thing. It's around 12 minutes long, and you can see how it synthesizes, makes sense of that amount of data, and tries to guess, because it doesn't know for sure. It tries to take a educated guess on what those data might be. Now I want to bring your attention to the video overview. Generate and explain a video presented to you by AI. So I generated it 2 times. The first one, I like the first one better. Let me try to play this.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into the massive world of online learning. We've got the data from one of the biggest platforms out there, and we're going to see how people are building honest-to-goodness educational empires, pretty much from scratch. All right, so when you look at all this data, the first thing you have to ask is, just how big are we talking? I mean, what's the actual scale of this whole online learning universe? And the answer is, well, it's kind of mind-blowing. Check this out. Over 3.5 billion learner enrollments. And that's just from one single ecosystem. This isn't just a website, folks.
So it starts off with a nice intro, and then it goes into other detailed study of how the enrollments vary over different categories.
This is a massive global passion projects, you know? Things like learning an instrument or getting into fitness. So that leads to the next question, right? Are all these digital campuses the same size? Let's take a look at how they actually compare.
And wow, okay, the difference in scale here it's huge. I mean, don't get me wrong, instructors in creative fields and academics are reaching massive audiences. But the numbers in tech? They're just on a whole other planet. You've got one guy, an IT expert, reaching almost 1 million students all by himself.
And this just kind of lays it all out. You can really see the variety here. It's like a massive marketplace for skills. One minute you could be learning Python, and the next you're diving into a course on how to take better photos. It's all there. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that even though tech is obviously a hot ticket, there's a huge, thriving market for everything else too, for passion-based learning. Success isn't just for the coders. It's happening across the board. All right, so we've seen the 30,000-foot view. Now let's zoom all the way in and meet some of the rock stars of this world.
So now it drills down into individual instructors who have made across the board, who have made a nice splash, and the enrollment numbers are worth noting.
These are the individual instructors, the real titans of teaching, who have built these incredible educational empires.
First up, let's jump into the super competitive, super lucrative world of IT. In this space, certifications are everything. They're the keys to a better job, a bigger paycheck. And that kind of demand, it creates absolute superstars.
Take a guy like Mike Meyers. He's zeroed in on CompTIA certs, which are basically the gold standard for IT pros. By becoming the go-to guy for that one critical thing, he's pulled in more than 600,000 students. That's incredible.
But hey, like we said, it's not all about tech. Let's do a total 180 and pivot from IT over to the creative arts, because you'll find a totally different, but just as amazing kind of success story over there. And this is the perfect example. Look at Phil Ebner. He's built this huge community. We're talking over 500,000 students, all wanting to learn about photography and video. It just proves that passion-based learning can operate on a massive scale.
And it doesn't stop with professional skills or hobbies either. Even the core stuff, the subjects you remember from school, they have their own giants online too.
I mean, check out Krista King. Her specialty is math, and she's got an audience of more than 568,000 learners. To put that in perspective, she's basically running a digital math department that's bigger than most actual universities. Let that sink in.
Okay, so we've met the titans, but how did they get there? Is there just one secret formula? Well, the data shows there are actually two.
So I'll link to this video down in the description, and I also upload it to my channel, link it to there, so that it's available later as well. But it does a good job of going through the data and bringing a story, an entire story around the data. So because it's just bare bones data, it is interesting how it spins a story and then it takes everything around in that in the data, all the data in it. And after that, there is also saved responses. These excerpts of I think this is what I have saved. Yeah, so this is the summary that I have saved. And there's also another computer dossier analysis. So introduction, category performance analysis. It does analysis, final recorded and initial recorded comparison. Analysis of cohort C, D. Profiles for top tier instructors, like it has mentioned in the video. Zaid Sabi, Chris Harun, Kain Ramsey. And analysis of high momentum instructors. Strategic implications and opportunities. So it does a nice computer report, computer dossier analysis of key instructors and categories. So there is also another video, but I will leave it for now. Otherwise it will get too long. This video gets too long, but you can check it out from the description. So this is a round summary of what you can do with the NotebookLM, where you have a lot of data across multiple sources. So you can string them all together and then build reports, videos, audios, podcasts based on that sources. So that will be all for this video. See you in the next one.